The conversation continues on Houston's Morning News with Matt Patrick.
Hang on, let me get my tinfoil hat on. Hold on. KTRH News Time is 7:17. This is only a test.
Radio and TV stations around the country will conduct a nationwide test of the emergency alert system.
Media critic Jeff McCall, who's at DePauw University, joins me right now. Hey, Jeff, welcome to Houston's Morning News, sir.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, Jeff, now, listen, I'm a good conservative. I have the government in my sights. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. But I do have trouble putting the tinfoil hat on for this one, although I don't particularly like the idea of the government taking control of all radio, television, and cable stations at 1 o'clock. I do understand that we do need a system like this, but why do you think they're doing it now?
Well, I agree with a lot of your concerns there, but I do think this is a necessary test. You need an emergency alert system that's functional, and you have to test it at some point. And ultimately, I think the President of the United States, at some point in a national emergency, might need direct access to the nation. Now, it would have to be a real emergency. It couldn't be just like, pass my jobs bill now. Or
all right, well, like that's what I'm afraid we're going to hear at 1 o'clock.
I don't think so.
No,
I
don't.
This is just a test. But even in the future, I think if a president ever activated this system for something other than a really severe national emergency, I think there'd be such a credibility problem going forward that they would be laughed out of office.
Now, Jeff, would 9/11 have been the kind of emergency that we're testing for today?
Well, I don't think so, because, I mean, for one thing, when 9/11 was going on, nobody really knew the true magnitude of the event. And the other thing, it was a terrible thing, but the disasters were local at that point, too. So, I mean, I don't think that we would have been needing to notify somebody in Bismarck, North Dakota about a plane crashing in Pennsylvania or even the Pentagon.
All right, now, so
I think it'd have to be more severe than that.
Now I'm putting on my tinfoil hat. I'm going to ask you to hang on a minute.
Okay.
All right. And when we come back, do you have one? Do you need to borrow a tinfoil hat?
I'll go find one.
All right, do that, and then come back because I have a question to ask you related to what you just said.
Okay.
And I want to get your thoughts on it.
Great.
Because I'm feeling some conspiracy here. But before we get to my conspiracy theory, get your hats.
Hear about it. Talk about it now with Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time is 7:22. Back to our voter turnout story. Should Herman Cain take a lie detector test and the woodshedding of Eric Holder? But right now we are talking about the PSA test.
Remember, it's just a test. In the meantime, please help me spread the word to your friends, coworkers, and family members.
Emergency Broadcasting Alert System, the EAS is what we call it in the business, will be tested nationwide. Joining me, media critic Jeff McCall at DePauw University. You got your hat on, Jeff?
Yes, it's all firmly in place.
All right, very good. Now, here's what I think. I think something's going on. I think the government knows that there is some kind of imminent danger. They've been saying this. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I believe that's why we're doing this now. I mean, it's just kind of odd, don't you think, that with all that is taking place in the world, all of a sudden, the government is wresting control of huge radio stations like this one, television stations. I mean, what do you think? Could there be something in the wind they're just not telling us?
Well, it is a dangerous world out there, and I have a feeling that they always sense that there's a potential for something drastic. But this test has been set up for a long time, so I don't know that there's anything imminent, as you might suggest. This test was actually set up months ago to be done now. And one of the crazy things was, at the time, they were expecting all broadcast stations to have new EAS equipment installed, but not all the stations have gotten it because the equipment wasn't available. So they're really going to be running this test nationally with a lot of stations having their old equipment in place. So I don't know that there's anything imminent. I think there was a test that they had to get going, and they decided months ago to do it today. But I wonder now whether we'll have to do another test at some point when all the stations get their new digital equipment installed, sometime down the road, which might not even be until next summer.
Hat firmly in place. And by the way, KTRH is the station that is the flagship for this. We are the big monster in the area. So they're going to wrestle control of this station. Do you know, Jeff, that the government has been trying to get control of KTRH for an awfully long time?
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm telling you.
But I tell you what, I hope you guys stand strong down there. You don't want the government running your radio station, that's for sure.
No, we certainly don't. All right, Jeffrey, I thank you for your time. You can take your hat off now. We look forward to
thanks a lot.
Talking with you again. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You bet. Media critic Jeff McCall at DePauw University. In all seriousness, at 1 o'clock this afternoon here in KTRH and other radio stations throughout the city of Houston, throughout the state of Texas, throughout the nation, we will all be doing the same thing. We'll be running the EAS. You will hear it here. It will only be an interruption for about 30 seconds. Also television stations and cable stations as well. As Lois mentioned, and this is important, there may be some people who are not aware this test is going on. And as you're watching it in video, whether it's TV or cable, some people may actually think that there is an actual emergency. You may get a call from, your grandma or your mother or the gal down the street. Try and calm them down.
That's right. 30 seconds. Just know it's coming this afternoon, 1 o'clock local time, if you can remember that.
Right. And it's only a test.
Remember, it's just a test. In the meantime, please help me spread the word to your friends, coworkers, and family members.
Sure. It's only a test.
Radio and TV stations around the country will conduct a nationwide test of the emergency alert system.
Mm-hmm.